I'm very inspired by Clark Terry's attitude towards life in general. He's very blessed to have the wonderful career that he did, but he came from very struggling circumstances, and he launched himself to greatness pretty much by not giving up.
I think the thing that inspires me most about Clark Terry is how, even though he was injured and sick in bed, that he kept on playing and kept on teaching. I think it's a really good quality to have, is to keep on doing what you love, even though you might be sick in bed or have an injury, and keep on teaching younger people what you know.
I think some things people can really take away from Clark Terry are just his devotion, not only to himself playing music, but also to his students. Even up to the very last day, he was helping his students and installing in them just a deep love and passion for music, no matter where they come from, no matter what they've been through. That music is their outlet, and their feelings can be shown and portrayed through this beautiful melody or harmony or bass line or drum line, whatever instrument they play.
What I love about him is that he's always so positive and optimistic, and he's always incredibly dedicated to what he does. And I mean, as he says, and also the movie title is Keep On Keeping On. It's just kind of his way of saying, you know, things are gonna be bad in life, you're gonna go through some rough patches, but if you're positive throughout it, if you really love what you're doing, you're going to have a prosperous life, and you're going to have fun while you're at it. If you want to be doing what you're doing, you need to be passionate about it, and you need to love what you're doing. Otherwise, there's no point. You need to find something in life that you love.
This is a piece of art that I did recently that I think pretty well reflects what Clark Terry's about, with all his interesting sounds that come out of his horn. And I had a good time drawing this because I got to think about all the different noises that he's made on his trumpet, but also in his track Mumbles. I don't know, he's just such a creative individual, and I wanted to do something that I thought would reflect that a little bit. And I used my skills to highlight some of his skills. Seeing how Clark Terry lives his life makes me want to be happy and positive in all that I do, because I can see the rewards that it had in his life, as well as in his sound, because I think it's very important as a jazz musician to develop your own unique sound, and that's definitely something that he has and something that I would like for myself. So he is an inspiration both musically and in character.
Well, one thing I realized was he's blind, of course, and to see how amazing and structured, well balanced his music is, the way he plays, it made me realize that there's no reason why I can't be that great, because I have my sight. So I would say that seeing him play as great as he did motivates me to want to practice more.
What stuck out to me most in the documentary was just Gwen's strength, and how no matter what Clark was going through, she was there by his side, whether he was on the hospital bed and he was losing his legs, or if he was on stage performing, she was right there cheering him on. There's so many jazz musicians who've gone through a lot of hard stuff with drugs and alcohol, and just having her there to support him really inspired me, and I know will have an impact on me in my future.
I'm tempted to get elected.
With Whiplash was definitely a very impactful movie. The director in that movie, Fletcher, has very different ways of teaching than Clark Terry, that's for sure. He's very violent and aggressive and sometimes verbally abusive even, while Clark Terry is encouraging. But at the same time, both of their students are still pushed to the same level of greatness, so it's interesting to see what method would work better for a certain person. And I think that while both methods do have positives to them, like the Whiplash version, it's very, it proves that a person wants to keep going with what they're doing. I think the Clark Terry version is much more constructive because it builds upon someone's strengths rather than weaknesses, but it still pushes them to their best and separates the mediocre players from future jazz masters.
I really enjoyed Clark Terry's method of teaching and how it was much more of a companionship and kind of a feedback from each other between the student and Clark Terry. That really was surprised me and I thought it was really nice and just an enjoyable environment to be with. And that you can learn much more, and that it's based off of your own personal desire to learn. Whereas with Fletcher and Whiplash, he's driving your desire. You practice because you don't want to get beaten by the teacher, instead of practicing just because you love to practice.
I'll turn around if you want.
Alright, do that, please. Alright.
Lila lula lo. Skeet ska boo boo ba. Zap 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 zap.
Lily la lo lu. I don't know.
Lila lula. Yeah.
You want us to leave the room?
Yep.
Okay.
It's just weird to me.
Ali ala ali boo bidi bida di.
This is scheming bomb. There you go.
Sulula.
Lil la 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 lu. Lil la 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 lu. Hello, lil la lu, lil la lu, lil la lu. Lil skip out of how. There you go.
Lila lula la. Clark Terry will be remembered not only by the music that he played, but by the people who he has shared his legacy with.
So thank you, Clark, for inspiring the next generation and for leaving a legacy behind that's worth living after, and for teaching us to keep on keeping